Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. We've got a fantastic match for you guys today. It's a link to the Past NMG Tournament 2021. It's going to be between vertz505 and robjbeasley in the losers bracket round 2. Today on comms we have Vortex of Doom and McMonkey. You guys know a lot more about the game than I do, so why don't you guys take it away?
All right, good Sunday morning, everybody. We've got a really good matchup here today. Number 54 seed against number 56 seed. We've got Vertz coming out of Group N as the number 3 seed. robjbeasley coming out of Group P as the number 4 seed. And both of these runners have a single win. They're both within shouting distance of each other's PBs and have put up similar times in the tournament. So I'm really expecting a good race this morning. And good morning to you, Vortex. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Definitely happy to be here. I think this should be a good race. I think we're going to be getting started here pretty shortly.
Yeah, just a few seconds. We've got both runners who are knocking on the door of sub 90. So we've got some rapid improvement, especially on robjbeasley's side. He's gotten in the past 5 months. He's had I think 6 PBs that he's driven his time down from 135 all the way down to the mid 130s. So really looking for both of these runners to hopefully be on PB pace for a good portion of this run.
Yeah, and Vertz, I know, I think just got his 131 a month or two ago, but it was like a 2 or 3 minute PB. So he's just started grinding the game again, and so both runners definitely on a hot streak lately.
Yeah, and that makes for good viewing for us as we are underway here.
Oh, before we get too far, I want to say hello to Olivia, as she requested in chat.
Yes.
She's in Switzerland, which is
good afternoon.
A very nice place to be. Yeah.
And good morning to the rest of chat too. We appreciate all of you being here with us.
Vertz maybe having to avert some rando brain. Almost walked and grabbed the lamp from that chest. Not the costliest mistake you could make, but definitely not a mistake you want to make in a race.
No, particularly not in a race that you expect to be close, right? You don't want to give up free seconds. There are going to be places where you'll lose time, but no need to make a mental mistake and give up a couple seconds.
Yeah, that grabbing the lamp out of that chest is actually costlier than it would appear at first, because the reason we pick up the lamp in Zelda's cell where we do there is so you can save a menu to boomerang and just have it out for free once you open that. So you want that to be the first chest you open. And if you want to be using the boomerang, you'll have to menu to it later. So you either have to waste an extra menu or go without the boomerang in the rest of Escape in Eastern Overworld, which is can be risky even if it's not disastrous.
Yeah, at that point, it's the menu is going to cost you about a second and a half, and probably worth it, even if you pick up the lamp first. But yeah, it goes to show that even more time loss than just the second or two to open the chest.
Rob pulling out a left slash strat for that first key guard, and actually getting it pretty close to optimal. It looked like to me that key dropped right next to the door.
Yeah, that was impressive. It only saves a few frames and is quite a bit tougher to pull off. So great to see that he's practiced that and was able to get it done.
Yeah, Rob said in the pre-race questioning that he thought Escape was one of his most consistent splits. Or no, that was Vertz. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the runners back.
No, it was Rob. Rob said that when asked what the strongest segment was, Rob said that probably Escape relative to his peers in the 130 area of PB.
It was, however, Vertz that did the left slash, so credit where due. Rob on a single heart. Wonder if he'll opt to pick up any of the hearts prior to the sewers section.
Yeah, particularly in a race, it can feel pretty uncomfortable to be walking through all of Escape on a single heart. It's only going to take 2 more hits from most of the enemies in here to die, and of course that would be quite a big time loss.
Yeah, I'd expect we probably don't see him pick one up unless he, is a little slow backtracking through this key guard room and maybe takes a hit there. Because if you're on 1 hit, you really don't want to walk back from Zelda's cell again. Getting through it cleanly, I would imagine he'll opt to just hope he gets through this next room cleanly. And proving me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, just the comfort of having 2 hearts going through. I mean, you can get the one going through the beginning of the sewers as well. Either one, it's not going to cost you much time, and if it makes you that much more comfortable going through the sewers, then I think it's worth the time loss.
Yeah,
on the other hand,
go ahead.
On the other hand, there is a benefit to being low on hearts at the end of sewers, saving some time on the sanctuary cutscene.
Yeah, but it's pretty easy to take that damage regardless. And Rob actually picking up that heart as well. Not the friendliest snake RNG, but
he made it through just fine. Yeah, it seems perhaps Rob is thinking to be extra cautious today. He does have a slight edge on the PB front, about 20 seconds or so. So maybe just thinking that if he can get through clean without any major mistakes, then that's what it'll be. That's what it'll take to win the match today.
Mm-hmm. And Escape it's not one of the most important splits in the run. I think for the most part, the best runners and the worst runners in the tournament will have at absolute most probably a 20-second difference in their escape times. But it's a really important tone setter, in my opinion, for a run. Having just a pretty clean escape makes a big difference in how the next split goes and how the next split goes. So it's important to get off on the right foot, even if that's not as fast as you can do it.
And both runners finishing escape within a second of each other, so good start to the race. Probably a little slower than Rob wanted based on his PB time of 5:55, but what appears to be a nice escape for Vertz.
Yeah, both runners now gonna make that the walk to Eastern. If you're a little lost in chat, don't watch much of the vanilla game like Sirius, who thinks this is rando. These are some screens that you don't often see in the randomizer, and there's going to be a lot of screens like this in the NMG speedrun. Since we can't save and quit, there's not going to be anywhere near as much saving and quitting to Link's house or Sank to get where you need to go.
Interestingly, there is an NMG category that allows save and quits, but for whatever reason, it did not become the popular one, and there aren't very many people who run it.
Yeah, I've considered, trying it out, but I don't know. Yeah, never. I like all those differences in the vanilla speedrun personally as a rando runner. It sort of makes them feel more different and worth running both.
Yeah, and some of the other runs in the Link to the Past category are also interesting. Have different route changes. You get to get different items, to see different techniques, and I think that I agree. My preference would be more towards running different categories. And there's something nice about being able to compare with what is now quite a large pool of people who have run NMG.
Yeah, I think that's the big pool of time comparisons is definitely one of the big draws for me.
We got both runners making their way to the back of Eastern Palace to pick up that big key. Nothing major to report on. They're both making through relatively cleanly here. And pretty much in lockstep.
Nice anti-fairy skip from Rob. Not even bothering with those popos. Going around the other way, which is not something... It's good situational awareness that you don't always... I would always autopilot and just go left and slash them.
Yeah, I think that sort of speaks to the mindset of looking for those little micro optimizations, which is it's a good habit to be in, and it's a hard skill to master, to recognize on the fly these situations that you clearly probably haven't practiced, but to recognize that, hey, it might be a few frames faster to do it this other way because the current conditions are different than the typical route. It's going back for the 20 rupee drop.
I would imagine that means that Vertz will be going for 3 rupees. Could be wrong. You do need some extra rupees, and it's always nice to have a little buffer going into pod.
Yeah, absolutely. Like in a race situation, if you happen to get bumped while carrying Kiki to the door and you only have 110, that can cost you quite a bit of time. So taking that second to pick up the extra 20 rupees, could just be some little bit of insurance for later in the run.
Rob misfiring an arrow, but still getting the quick kill. Vertz firing an extra arrow will not be getting the quick kill. Vertz will only probably lose a second, though, which is not the end of the world, and we'll be saving a little bit of time in Eastern over his PB.
Yeah, both of them with clean Easterns, particularly compared to their own PBs. They made it through, no major errors, a little bit of Zelda Gamer Room hiccup, but
Rob had a little hiccup in the Stalfos room. I think he got a third one to spawn, but cleaned it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, those are the sort of mistakes that I think they'll live with, particularly on Vertz's side. Being 6 seconds ahead of PB at this point has got to feel pretty good.
Both runners getting the first spin speed of the run cleanly. You love to see it. And one of the more important ones, too.
Yeah, there are certainly degrees of importance with the spin speeds, and that one saves you quite a bit more than the 2 following ones in this split.
Rob, thinking momentarily of going for that one a second time, and probably correctly deciding it's not worth it. Vertz getting it though, so we'll make up a little time.
Yeah, and that's where it's good to know which spin speeds are more important than others, because I think that some of them are not worth trying more than once if you fail it, but others are absolutely worth trying 2 or 3 times even because of the time that they save you. So now making our way down to desert. Rob using his menu buffer early for the water dash here. Good job there. Bert's making it through there without dashing through the water as well. I mentioned he'll use his menu for the lineup in the desert proper. It's a fun difference to keep an eye on where people choose to use their menu buffers. It's the sort of thing that, as a newer runner, you don't really think about using the menuing to your advantage. But as you are progressing through and improving your PB, the place where you use your menu can have a lot of value in making your run more consistent.
So I don't know how it looks on Restream. Mine are a little desynced on our feed, but Vert's actually about 1.5 to 2 seconds ahead entering desert. That missed spin speed and extra sort of stutter from Rob definitely cost a little time, but very close race. Rob has a pretty sketchy arrow count as well. In a race situation, might want to pick up the 5 arrows before land mode. You might not normally do that.
Yeah, and I think it probably depends on how comfortable he is with Landmo at this point, how comfortable he is picking up arrows later in the run. But there'll be a couple of opportunities after desert, but the main concern would be if Landmo goes off the rails and you're low on arrows, then that could be a pretty big time loss. Both are runners with pretty healthy rupee counts, though. 30 rupees coming out of Desert Palace is going to make the tree pulls a little simpler.
Yeah, they get to skip at least one blue, and if they get any lucky drops anywhere else, they could maybe even get a chance to skip a red on the second tree pull.
Yeah, so about a 2-second differential at this point, which is great. This is living up to its billing so far. We got a long way to go, but both of our runners are keeping pace with each other, which is what you want to see. A lot of variability in the Landmo fight, so we'll see how both of these runners handle that.
Yeah, I mean, I would bet that it's not very likely that the time differential will hold. I don't know what direction it'll end up in by the end of the fight, but probably not going to keep that 2-second difference. Just Landmo is too high variance. Ooh, nicely timed arrow, but an incorrect direction.
Oh, and Vert's saving the 5 cycle. They both ending up with 5 cycles there by my count.
Okay. So I might be wrong. Might keep that pretty close. Okay, I think the differential is up to 5 seconds, so it's not definitely still very close, which you love to see.
Absolutely.
And Rob showing off some sparkling new tech. If you menu at the end of the Landmo fight after picking up the heart, it actually doesn't delay the pendant fall at all, so you can get your boomerang out and use it to maybe deal with some of these pickles and dead rocks coming up on the Hera overworld.
That is fantastic. I didn't even know that. Cutting edge technology. I like it. Making our way to our favorite old man of the game. My favorite old man of the game. Saha's nice and all, but, you know, I get a special place in my heart for the lost old man, perhaps because that's what I'm slowly becoming.
I don't know. The boots and mirror are two of the best items in the game, so it's really hard to choose which one's better. I'd probably give the edge to Saha. He gives you those boots earlier, you know.
I do love boots.
In a vanilla playthrough, he gives you that nice ice rod hint, which is definitely useful.
Yeah, I suppose looking at it from the casual vanilla playthrough, Saha definitely has more value with him constantly whispering to you. But you know, perhaps it's just because I've played the game enough. I get sick of all of his talking. You know, I just beat Aga. Just let me go.
Vert's having a little more trouble. Some just worse RNG with those boulders on Death Mountain, but both runners. You know, not losing too much health on the Hera overworld, which is what you want.
Yeah, Hera is just generally a difficult, finicky split. So, you know, the more health you can have walking in the door, the more comfortable you're going to be getting through the rest of the split. All right, waiting for our favorite cutscene. Both of them choosing different places to stand for this.
Guessing we'll see a dash through that last one from Vertz. And did Rob throw a pot at the
He
last
did throw
one?
a pot. He timed it pretty well. So, yeah, there's two different ways of dealing with that last tile to gain a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think that throwing the pot is probably between, 3 and 7 frames faster. If I had to just completely guess out of the blue than dashing, even with the faster movement. But honestly, both pretty fast. And yeah, in a race setting, I think I'd pick up those arrows too. Definitely faster than the Bonk Cave. And sets you up pretty nicely for the rest of the run. Rob opting not to hit the switch in Hera.
Yeah, down 2 hearts, it's close. I think I probably would in a race situation, definitely wouldn't in a regular run. But with that arrow pickup, Rob is now looking pretty healthy on arrows, and Vertz is the one who's going to have to stop for a refill. Oh, and Vertz taking the double fall. You hate to see that. Just didn't quite get the spin set up.
Actually, I wouldn't have mirrored in Vertz's position. He had hit the switch, so he could just run straight down. The beetles would already be gone.
Yeah, so I think perhaps thinking about picking up the bomb. I think that might be one of the factors.
Oh, yeah, that could be it too. Ooh, and he's missing his arrow drop. It's that if you're standing too close to that door when it opens, you'll just get pulled straight in.
Meanwhile, Rob with a nice Moldorm fight, Moldorm cooperating, not really getting stuck over on the left side. Rob getting some pretty quick hits, and he gets his third pendant. And Vertz, nice recovery there. You know, it's easy to get tilted by that first fall and end up with the second one, but he was able to concentrate and get it done the second time through.
Did we get a spin speed off the ledge there from Rob? Or did he just jump off?
He did a spin speed and tapped down just a little too far and ended up quick hopping off the ledge.
It's funny that rarely happens to me, but when it does, I'm like, man, how does that not happen to me more often?
There's not a lot of space there at the bottom of the staircase.
It's pretty hard. Having a little trouble with Moldorm, but not so much that he takes another fall, so I think Vertz will take that.
Yeah, he'll take his 30-second time loss and just buckle down and hope to catch up. 30 seconds is not a death sentence by any means, especially this early in the run.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of places in a single segment that you could lose 30 seconds without even a major death. So just got to focus and keep going.
So I'd say the runners are... I guess I can... Yeah, I was going to say just about a minute apart, and that is factual based on their splits. Okay. I think Vertz was trying to menu to bow and was just pressing start again. I don't think he was actually frame advancing his way through that on purpose. Just being a little too quick on the start button can do that.
Vertz getting the bush crab for his second kill, and he got bumped by the bird. So that's going to be another 10 to 15 seconds of time lost to get the backup rupee drop. The timing on some of these dashes going through Lost Woods in order to get the tree pole rupee drops is pretty tight. So it's not uncommon to see that type of error. We've got some Saha Rupee truthers in the chat.
If getting the tree poles wasn't so satisfying, I think I would have probably considered doing Saha Rupees for some of my races. I haven't missed in any yet. I haven't gotten hit, so. But definitely not I think, versus an optimal tree pole, if you're doing Saha Rupees without the bomb, that is, I think it's like 5 seconds or so. It's not prohibitive at all.
No, certainly not. Interestingly, I think in Vertz's shoes, perhaps just trying to get through quickly, if he had gotten one more kill, he would have gotten the 5 rupee drop instead of the 1, which could have saved him from picking up one of the red rupees in the backup.
Ooh, I would have paused to pick up that heart. Having beams in Aga Tower is I think worth that pause.
Yeah, I go back and forth on the beams in Aga Tower. Certainly it's I think around their level is when you start getting to the point where you can reliably get through the bottom of the tower with beams. So you certainly get benefit in the first 2 rooms. But then the later benefit, it's hard to cash in on that until you get a little bit higher level.
I don't know what you think the word reliably means, but that's reliably is not the word I would use for getting through Aga's Tower with beams at almost any level. But it is something you can start hoping to do at about this level, I guess. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's very true.
oh man, and if he'd gotten those blue rupees, I think he would have been pretty close to fine with those drops being what they were. Oh, also, Vertz did not pick up the mushroom and is down the fairy drop. So that is going to be a very worrisome Turtle Rock later.
Yeah, so clearly either doesn't know or wasn't comfortable doing the dash strat to preserve the fairy drop there, and that makes it even more curious to skip the heart. The heart was just right there. He had gone back to pick up red rupees, so like he's clearly on the lookout for drops that could be helpful. And in terms of utility, having that fairy drop later in the run is huge. Particularly when not picking up the mushroom, which I don't know that I've seen a runner at this 130, 131 level that doesn't pick up the mushroom.
Yeah, there are a couple. Most of the ones I've seen are ones that have been running the game a little longer. Fake powder is a pretty recently discovered tech. It's not brand new, but it's also not something that's been. It's not a historically favored safety. And I know Vertz has definitely been running this game for a little longer than many.
We'll see how good my multitasking is today with trying to count on 2 screens at once.
Is that 3 or just 2 for Rob in the first?
That was. I think I've seen 4 so far on Rob's
4.
side. Yeah, it must be at least 4 since he didn't get killed on that one there. So an opportunity to pick up quite a bit of this time if Aga cooperates for Vertz, because we're up to at least 6 on Rob's side. But of course, Aga never cooperates when you need him to, and given Blue Ball the first 2 opportunities for Vertz.
I mean, still a lot of potential time save versus Rob if Aga plays nice this next cycle, or even the next 2 cycles. There's still time to be made up. Okay, less and less. I think if he gets 1 more, it'll be. Okay, so that's 4 for Vertz.
Yep. I think we ended up at 6 or 7 for Rob.
It's 5. So it's going to be max 7 for Vertz, but it's 5. So not as much time as he wanted to make up, but I'm sure. I actually don't know if Vertz is watching.
Yeah, that's one question that I should have asked these guys. It's always interesting to know whether they're keeping an eye on their opponent's stream during a race. Some people are just not at all comfortable doing that. It'll distract them. Some people just need to know where their opponent is.
Mm-hmm. If I'm not having a good run, I find that it's very hard for me to stay invested if I don't know where I stand in the race. So even if I'm way behind, I sort of prefer knowing that to see like, oh, can I make up time, or can I like, where if the PB's dead, I wouldn't necessarily be as capable of keeping focus there.
Yeah, Yeah, and you could definitely see how different people's mentalities, knowing that they're ahead, knowing that they're behind, could have an impact one way or the other. For some people, it's motivating to know where they stand one way or the other. For others, it just adds to an already stressful situation. I'm with you for sure. I'm a chronic resetter, so if I've made major errors and I'm not in a race, I'm probably just resetting. So, to have the motivation to keep going, the focus, knowing where I stand in the race, helps with that. But I could definitely see how some people would want to not have that stream up, not have any idea where they are, so they can just focus on what they're doing.
And it looks like, even with Vertz's mishaps, and the blue ball difference, I think, it kept it right around 1 minute still, difference between the runners. So that's the difference is holding pretty steady from after Hera.
Yeah, and perhaps a sign of Vertz trying to push it to make up time. Had a little menu mishap. I think that's pretty common when you're trying to go at maximum possible speed, to just hit that menu button before you've fully switched to the item you're looking for. Happens a lot.
Rob with a nice 2-bomb hammer yump. Took a couple more menu buffers than he probably would have liked, but in a race setting, especially when you're ahead, any hammer yump you don't fail is a good hammer yump. Did Vertz take the arrow and bomb pickup?
He did, yeah. He took the time to pick them up. Needing both, it seems like a no-brainer at that point. He had used an extra bomb to get the drop down, was a little bit low on arrows already, so you might as well pick them both up.
I was wondering how he got 15, because I knew he missed the arrow drop from the miscellaneous pack. He definitely was conserving them in Aga Tower. Vertz not using any of his menus to get to the mirror. We're going to have to take an extra menu. But definitely gets it in a couple less pause buffers than Rob. So made up a marginal amount of time there.
Yeah, when I switched to using that menu to switch to mirror, I had such muscle memory in menuing quickly to try to get to the right pixel that it actually cost me time, because just the sort of brain cycles it took to switch gears from adjusting position to adjusting item. It's just a lot to keep track of at once.
Yeah, and if you're worried that's going to mess up the hammer yump, not worth it. So. Stopping to pick up an arrow pod. Clearly does not want to be low on arrows leaving pod. Maybe knowing he's not going to get that arrow drop and wanting to save time later.
Rob playing it pretty safe here with the second phase. But deciding to just wait in there. He's now on one hit mode, and he gets the final hit. That's got scary quickly, which Helma can definitely do.
I thought that his last hit was his third hit, and he just walked into Helma after at first. That was scary.
It was certainly brave to just get right up in there.
But I think, Helma doesn't often get talked about as one of those fights that sort of goes better the faster you do it. But I think it definitely is. It's not.
Yeah, especially that second phase where he can spit fireballs at you and swing his tail. And if you can get those 4 hits in before he has an opportunity to get both attacks off, then it's certainly a lot safer. Nicely done by Vertz there. Definitely making up a little bit of time on that Helma fight. Got through that second phase quite a bit quicker.
Notably, Vertz did not use the spin speed tech.
Again, maybe a sign of Vertz being a more old school runner. The spin speed tech being relatively new, similar to the fake powder.
Closest thing to a major disaster being that Hera bomb jump fall, and other than that, been a pretty close race. And I think where we were talking about how Rob thought his escape was one of his better segments, I think Vertz said that he considered Pod one of his best segments, and it showed there. He even taking a couple extra seconds to grab the arrows and bombs definitely made up a little time there.
And of course, saying which segment is your best is usually a recipe for then losing a few seconds on that split in the next run,
Yeah.
Which is what happened with Rob in Escape.
And Vertz did lose a couple seconds over his PB. Ooh, taking the murder dactyl, his dash input clearly didn't take there.
Yeah, we'll see
Not
if he
the worst.
decides to pick up some apples on the way into Thieves Town.
Yeah, it's not the worst split to take a couple extra hearts of damage on, but it's a pretty bad to take a couple more hearts of damage on. And often that first hit can definitely exacerbate the effects of later hits. So if Vertz is watching, he might decide to just play it really aggressive, or he might decide to play it aggressive anyway, because I don't think I've ever bonked that apple tree, or maybe once when I was on like 1 heart. I just don't know how to do that screen with it.
Yeah, I think it depends a lot on if you've taken the time to learn how to do it relatively quickly, and also whether how comfortable you are with Thieves Town. Different runners are going to be at different comfort levels there.
Mm-hmm. I do expect Vertz will be pretty comfortable in Thieves Town, because that I know he's a rando runner, and Thieves Town is probably the easiest dungeon to adjust to in NMG coming from rando. It's you do it virtually the same way, and honestly, you have better equipment doing Thieves Town in NMG than you would in a lot of rando seeds, which is not true for many of the Dark World dungeons.
Yeah, that's a great point, particularly if you're playing like inverted modes where you might be doing Thieves Town with 3 or 4 hearts and no sword.
Okay, we do see the apple tree.
Doing it pretty quickly. Yeah, that was nicely done.
Without killing the guards too. That's honestly that was pretty cool way to see the screen done. Rob getting bunny beamed. That's a pretty costly one. Those are a couple decently long dashes that you miss out on.
Vertz getting the quick warp, although having to go kind of around the world to get it. There's a certain point where in a vacuum it's no longer worth it to go for the quick warp, but in the heat of the moment it's nearly impossible to make that correction.
Oh gosh, it is almost trivia time, and I don't have a trivia question. What do I know about this game?
Techno, if you got a trivia question, you want to DM it to me or Vortex, feel free. you are then obviously not able to get the question correct.
Oh, dang. Well, Sirius got it to me first. I don't know when exactly the proper time to do the trivia question is.
I say we're running the show whatever time you decide is the right time. Harsh conditions from Sirius, disallowing any pun-based trivia questions. Meanwhile, the runners making it through Thieves Town, both doing a relatively good job here. Rob with full health still. That's always a good sign. Meanwhile, the cricket's not quite cooperating for Vertz. We'll see if Vertz ends up picking up some safety hearts downstairs.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Sirius's question. I did not know the answer to this one prior. So this mythically inspired boss may not face Perseus in Oracle of Ages, but they are the only original boss not taken from Zelda 1 or Zelda 3. Don't lose your head trying to figure this one out.
That's a good one. I like that. Meanwhile, Vertz does pick up the safety hearts near Blind Cell.
Shady expressing his displeasure with the trivia. That was a gold Thieves Town from Rob. It's a 7-19 Thieves Town split, I think, if I can do math right.
Sounds right to me. Yeah, and that must feel good. I mean, knowing that PB is probably not going to happen. That kind of going in on races. It's hard to get a PB in a race situation, particularly if it's like a playoff race. And then when you get 7 blue balls, obviously PB is going to be that much harder. So to be able to pick up some golds is a nice consolation prize.
Yeah, although you say probably not going to pick up a PB. I don't know any runners at this level for whom the PB is entirely dead at less than 40 seconds over this early in Dark World. There's always some time save later.
That's true, and if you're putting up golds, that's a good way to get there.
Vertz losing a little time in that Thieves Town, about 17 seconds. Far from over, but definitely gonna need to tighten up a bit to bring this one back.
Yeah, pushing Rob's lead above a minute now. Vertz is getting into needing a relatively big mistake from Rob at this point. I mean, it's possible to make up a minute, but it's getting harder and harder.
Did we see a fence dash from Rob? I wasn't looking.
We did, and we got a successful fence dash.
Ooh, we're seeing a Dark World Bush Guard too. That, you don't see that every day.
And not getting hit by the Dark World Bush Guard, which is even better.
Rob pulling that statue down a really long way, but gets really good RNG for it. Handles that mummy room exquisitely.
See if we get the same fence dash from Vertz. Just taking a little too long to set up, and it seemed like he wasn't sure on the setup and just bailing on it, which I think is probably the right decision. When you've already taken that much time to set up and you're still not sure, adding a bonk to that would just add insult to injury. Meanwhile, Rob cruising through Skullwood so far.
Yeah, this has been better than any Skullwoods I've had in quite a while. Vert's getting a stuck mummy, which he also had a pretty clean mummy room.
Yeah, getting one of those mummies stuck certainly makes things a lot simpler. You have one less thing to worry about keeping your eye on during that room. Moth getting away a little bit. This fight going on a bit longer than Rob probably would have wanted, but getting it done in the end.
It's out of death, too. That was very, very close. But Moth does do 2 hearts of damage. A couple close calls there, but
yeah,
honestly, a pretty
particularly
good
that last hit.
Skullwoods.
He was kind of diagonal to Moth, and there was definitely the potential for Moth sitting in that sword blind spot. Yeah, and I think that was probably gold pace for Skullwoods for Rob going into that Moth fight. That fight probably killed the potential for a Skullwoods gold, but it's going to be still a pretty good time for him, I think. Yeah, almost exactly the same as his PB, which you can't really argue with that. Vert's doing a good job there with the mummy killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he took a little extra time to grab a couple more hearts, which I can't fault him for.
Ooh, doing some nice poke dashes on Moth, though. I like that.
I think he just has one more hit. Ooh, got a nice double hit with the fire rod.
Yeah, that magic refill helped.
Fight. I don't know how Rob did not get hit by that Octorok shot. But having a pretty nice Ice Palace overworld so far. Didn't get lotteried, didn't...
Yeah, looking like Neo from the Matrix. Dodging rocks, dodging popos, ropas.
Nice last second cancel. avoid a little bit of lag going into Zora's domain.
Yeah, generally a good approach and traversal through Zora's domain.
I took one little dive into the water, but that can happen when you're playing fast, so... Coming up on what is probably the most technical of the Dark World Crystal Dungeons. Probably between this and Turtle Rock in terms of technical, but I think Turtle Rock is a lot more RNG reading and game knowledge that goes into it. Ice Palace, just every room has the potential for seconds of time loss, or tens of seconds if things go really bad.
Absolutely.
Doing things right is important.
And coming in with beams is the first step on doing things right. That makes the first room, or second room I should say, quite a bit easier. And I think just in general, having full hearts, not taking damage, there's a lot of places to take damage going through Ice Palace, and some places where you can't help but take damage. So the longer you can keep full health, the more comfortable your cold stair fight's going to be. It's an obvious statement, but perhaps more important in Ice Palace than in a lot of other dungeons. There are quite a few of the dungeons where if you take a little bit of damage, it's not likely to affect how you get through it.
Right. Not opting for damage boost strats. Ooh, taking a hit from the shadow. There. Rob, I don't know if he realized that he needed to turn to the side there, because if you face down like you're going for the hammer dash, with that bomb lineup, you will end up falling into the pit.
Yeah, really heads up play. I saw him practicing the Ice Palace bomb jump before the race, and he was aware of which positions required facing to the right. So pretty sure that he just recognized it, and to be able to recognize it and then make that dash turn while staying on the pixel, just great execution there.
And a nice stair clip from Rob too. Going into cold stair with, unless something goes weird in this room, 7 hearts, which is a pretty good number. You can take 1 icicle hit and 1 puff hit without dying, which is, about as comfy as it gets, unless you are extra cautious and go in with full health. Ooh, we got a poke there. Pretty nice cleanup. Not the worst puff party.
No, not at all. Yeah, having gotten that first spin certainly helped. That second spin just a bit off on the timing to get both spins.
And Vertz was an absolute madman racing that fire bar. Gets it nicely though.
Opting not to take the D-boost here, perhaps wanting just that little bit of extra comfort going into cold stair. Yeah, so relative to their PBs, it's looking like Vertz is having a better Ice Palace compared to his PB than Rob did. I'm not sure it's going to result in any time being made up.
I don't think so.
So, silver linings. Vertz had a relatively clean Ice Palace going into Cold Stare, and that's got to feel good for the rest of the run to have that under his belt.
Just gotta watch out here. Possibility of doing this fight fast is out the window. Oh my gosh.
That was super close.
Okay, I didn't know if Vertz knew he just needed one hit on that puff, but what I was going to say is the possibility of that fight going fast was out the window, but at that point you just want to make sure you don't die.
Yeah, definitely going into survival mode, going into commentator curse mode. I feel bad about that. I take it all back. He did the right thing, just focusing on survival at that point. Yeah, I'm definitely grateful for push to talk because there were certainly some weird noises coming out during that fight. A little bit of clenching going on. Meanwhile, Rob going straight into Swamp Palace. No, I don't think we had to stop for the either, unless he did it so quickly that I missed it.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
And Vert's doing the same. So both of these runners opting not to pick up Ether during the Swamp Split.
Nice stop and slash from Rob there. If he had continued that dash, I'm pretty sure that he would have taken a hit to that water bug.
Yeah, and Swamp is the split where you often see death by 1,000 cuts. There's nothing in here that's gonna hit you too hard, but there are a lot of things that have pretty random movement and can just chip away at you going through the dungeon. So, to avoid that hit is going to help.
Vert's doing the impossible and getting past that spike without taking damage, without getting, the fast path through the room where you just kind of autopilot it. If I miss that, I get hit every time.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was impossible, but then Vertz just did it, so clearly it's not impossible, but very difficult. The timing on that spike, maybe it's just me, but those sort of timing things are crazy tough, especially when you have the muscle memory of just dashing.
Yeah. Ooh, Rob nudging a little too far. Not going to be able to hook to the pot, or not going to automatically be able to, and does indeed miss it.
Yeah, that's a tough one to spot when you're off, and I think that just the nature of of us speedrunners is to hope that you got it anyway. So to recognize that you didn't and not take the couple of frames to use the hook shot is asking a lot.
And I think we might, like, I think I saw Rob, like, do a little extra movement that he might have noticed it was off and tried hoping what he did would fix it, which, honestly, most of the time ends up being 2 time losses, but I can't keep myself from doing it.
No, and the rush of fixing something on the fly like that is so great that I think it, the successes outweigh the failures in memory.
Oh, yeah.
For me anyway.
I know Rob said he has been working on the Argus Zero cycle, so let's see if we see an attempt on that. Gets 1 puff, but need more than 1 puff to get.
Looks like maybe missed the hook dash there.
He did get it. He just lost it immediately, because the first puff died on first hit. Ooh, and getting a 2 cycle out of it, and that's the risk for going for 0 cycle at first. Eventually, you get to the point where going for it doesn't lose any time. But if you can't recover and start getting puffs right away, it's you're liable to lose more time than you stood to gain.
Yeah, for sure, and I think that speaks to the value in practicing backups. Similar to the cold stare fight, to practice only the optimal strat. That's going to help you with the optimal strat, but to be able to practice when that goes off the rails and still get a good consistent time really helps a lot in driving down that PB.
Definitely. Rob's pace has suffered a little bit from since his Skullwoods, but still, keeping it together. That's not a swamp to complain too much about, I don't think, in a race setting. And might have noticed his lead, just playing it safe, not risking anything.
Yeah, I mean, between the lead that he has and the lead in terms of PB and gold split times on these dungeons, it's the right play to play it safe, even if it costs you 10 seconds per split. That's still going to give you a really high chance of coming out with a win at this point.
Vertz also going for the 0 cycle. Might still get a 1. No, that's a 2 cycle as well.
Yeah, and an unfortunate quick hop for Rob, having gotten the spin speed, got all the way to the top, and accidentally hopped off the ledge, had to reclimb the long staircase. So that's going to cost him some time. But on the flip side, he did get through without taking damage, so he's going to have beams for Meyer too, which is definitely what you want.
At the beginning of that split, Rob is pretty successfully pulling off what I think is the most fun part of the prospect of doing Meyer shopping, is that hook speed off the dam after mirroring to get the quick flute. Doing all his shopping in Meyer. Pretty common. One of the benefits to doing both in the Meyer split, if you're going to do any, is the crabs will often drop hearts. So if you take any damage in the Death Mountain portion, you can potentially make it up and still get beams without losing much time. So...
But that not being a problem for Rob, getting through unscathed, and Rob and Vertz get through the mountain unscathed as well. So far, he's got one more dead rock to get past. Both of these guys way braver than I am. I want nothing to do with Death Mountain in the Mire split.
Pretty nice Mire 2 from Rob, opting for the slightly safer strat that and getting an RNG where he doesn't lose too much time to it. And Vertz will be opting to get the Ice Rod in the Turtle Rock split.
Yeah, so we got the illusion of the race tightening up for Mire, but we still have Ice Rod to get on Vertz's side, so still in that minute plus time frame difference here, and Vertz still needing some kind of mistake from Rob in order to catch up.
Yeah, it was so to answer Fox in chat, there's a Hera bomb jump failure, and then just playing a little sloppier than Rob in a few of the splits after has definitely caused a lot of the time bleed. I have lost Rob.
Yeah, same on both restream and looking at his stream directly.
It's pausing for that shooter. On that RNG, you don't actually need to. It's hard to remember that sometimes, though. So
I've got Rob's stream back up. He's heading back towards the basement of Mire now. Pretty textbook Mire for these guys, based on their own personal best. They're not really taking any extra damage, getting through clean. We'll see how the basement goes for Rob here. Yeah, Vertz also getting through the upstairs clean. That's what you like to see coming out of Spike Room. You want to be down just the 3 hearts if possible. It's looking like he's going to.
yeah, Vertz was looking for the spark gamble, but the Fire Snake didn't give him the opportunities. Vertz willing to lose an extra heart, but won't have to. A nice quick fake powder from Rob there.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Yeah, that was about as quick as you can do that.
Beautiful Vidi fight. To clean it up. 5 hearts of damage. Very nice. Vertz missing his first fire rod shot. It's going to have to be very careful on this one, because he doesn't have a spare before he'll have to... Okay. And then that's the important important fire rod shot in Spooky. This one gains probably 2 seconds.
He's gonna have to be a little more careful on Viddy. We'll see how he handles it.
8 hearts is not too bad. It's definitely a level where if he had the mushroom and was behind, knew where he was, he probably wouldn't have opted to use it just to save a little time. It's not quite the worry zone.
Yeah, and he gets through Viddy just fine. Meanwhile, Rob getting bullied on Death Mountain. You know, perhaps the Dead Rock's getting their revenge after letting him through a clean on the Meyer split.
Yeah, this is approaching. He does have the fairy drop coming, but this is approaching fairy bonk rocks territory already. I think I probably would, if I knew where I was in the race and relative to PB. Like you're not gonna PB on this run at this point. Probably he's about a minute behind, and yeah, well, proving me wrong. He has lost enough hearts at this point that with damage boost strats, he will not be able to get beams from the fairy.
Yeah, and there's always the risk of not even getting the fairy on that first pokey, and then Chomps becomes a lot more dangerous of a proposition.
Definitely not a choice in the interest of race safety. Maybe he didn't realize Vertz hadn't picked up Ice Rod and that thought his lead had shrunk considerably, but hopefully nothing goes wrong.
Now Vert's picking up his Ice Rod, heading up the mountain. All you can do is just keep on and noticing that he's skipping splits. Perhaps the time behind PB is just a little too distracting for him, not wanting to even see it, just focus on solid segments from here on out and hoping for a mistake from Rob.
Okay, so Rob opting not to do the damage boost out. I do like that. Now he still stands. If he gets the fairy without taking any damage, he can still get beams, and yeah, it's probably a solid choice.
Well, and more importantly, I think it's the much safer choice. For this exact reason, right? Not getting that fairy is going to make this a lot tougher. And if he had taken the damage boost, then he would have been dead right there.
Yeah, this is a lot of time given back for Rob if Vertz can get through cleanly.
Yeah, that was tough. He got through it, which is the important thing. He survived. But, each of these next couple of rooms is going to be equally scary unless he gets that fairy drop.
I expect we'll probably be seeing a mirror from Vertz as well, whether or not he gets to the key in the roller room cleanly. He does not have that fairy, which I'm sure he is aware of. Anyone who doesn't pick up powder or mushroom will, at the very least, know whether they have the fairy, if not, try to preserve it.
As expected.
Hook shot does not save time, but it is quote unquote safer if you're going to mirror out anyway. It can help ensure that you don't take some last second damage you weren't expecting.
Oh, there's the fairy. Yeah, and then Rob wisely going for the fairy.
Finally getting the fairy and not a hit too early. And Vertz making up a huge amount of time in Chomp's room. Very well done. They were nicer, but he did capitalize on it. So
Yeah, both are runners with healthy arrow counts. Coming out of Turtle Rock, that's what you want to see. You want to be within range of getting above 18 with that 5 drop on the way to Ice Armos. Oh, unfortunately, Vert's getting bunny beamed, so he's given back most of that time that he gained in chasing down this Pokey.
take out the fire rod, Vertz. Just do it. Oh gosh.
Yeah, the good news for him is he's advanced that prize pack quite a bit, so it's possible that in Pokies 2 he could get another fairy. But yeah, this is not feeling too good right now. 1 heart in Turtle Rock.
I mean, he's still... Yeah, if that had gone well, I think he was maybe not in range of mistake territory again, but being back there, I think this might be a case of, you know, if you get to Laser Bridge, you just take the safety exit and take the refill, or just take the safety exit.
Well, making it through Pokies 2, didn't get that fairy drop, but he got through, which is the important thing. And wow, a really risky trip around the roller there. I'm not sure I would have been brave enough to try to go around the roller on 2 hearts. Meanwhile, Rob getting a little bit off track on this Trinex fight.
Ooh, missing the crystal switch. That's going to cost him a little time later. I'd be switching a hookshot here on 2 hearts. Okay, yeah. I think this is a good call.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if he decides to stop for the hearts. Yeah, he does. Yeah, unfortunately, didn't get a chance to try to hook shot the first heart. He stepped on it accidentally, and the second one did not dupe. So he's sitting at 4 hearts, which is still not very comfy going on to Laser Bridge. It's a single hit from death.
Okay, Vertz already knows he is taking the safety door here. He's in mistake territory, but I think a death without the safety door would take him out of mistake territory, in that there is virtually nothing that could reasonably happen. So I think that was a smart call.
Oh, and taking the intentional death there, which is smart to get a few extra arrows. If you've already taken the safety door, you're at 4 hearts. You know, you can get up to 5, but that's not super comfortable on trying to. Well, actually, you know, looking at it now, even if he picks up the heart on the way by, he's still.
What just happened there? He just walked over the pit, around the mini Helma. Just.
He got real
I don't
skinny.
Think I've ever seen that. That was nuts. I don't know. That can't have even been intentional. Oh, Vert's forgetting his menu to Fire Rod.
Yeah, it's going to cost... Oh, no, not... I thought it was going to cost him some ice on the ground there, but no. He just needs to be careful not to take another hit from the head here.
He is now in 1-hit KO mode. Does have that safety exit still. It'd still be a pretty bad death to take. He's standing well away. Going to go for 3 slashes after the spin instead of trying for the double spin and maybe taking a hit. safer in some ways, riskier in others, but does get the fight done. Meanwhile, Rob is having...
Those crystal switches are dodging hard.
This looks like me doing this room at the end of a long run. You open it up in the practice hack, and you can't mess it up. And then you get there after playing for an hour and 20 minutes, and it's impossible. Does finally get through it, though.
So we got Rob approaching Ice Armos here as Vertz is approaching GT entrance. So it's, the lead has certainly ballooned up a bit. That TR did not help Vertz's case. And with the way Rob is executing, it's looking like it's his race to lose. There are fewer and fewer things that could go wrong that could tighten this race up.
Vertz opting for the torch key. It's nominally a cost of about a second, but from experience trying to grab the other keys, it can be a time save if you mess up anywhere. So,
particularly without the mushroom, he's clearly not going to do fake powder, and so there's really no reason for him to go for that last key chest. And if you don't have to deal with the mini Helmas as well, yeah, I think you're right. I think in terms of consistency, if you're not fake powdering, getting that torch is probably going to wind up with more consistent runs.
I'm definitely saving a little time in the basement. Does get that boom hook room first try. Ooh, Vertz, making a pretty smart choice, in my opinion. Picks up the wrong pot, but does not pick up the arrow pot, thinking he needs those arrows, and then lose his way to bonk across. I have definitely done that more than once.
Yeah, and the backup being a bomb jump could be problematic with only one bomb, needing a bomb during the climb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the lead about 2.5 minutes going into the climb. That's still within range of, if there's a problem on Ganon, a Ganon death could end up costing somewhere around that amount of time.
Yeah, it'd have to be pretty late in the Ganon fight, and I think... Oh man, Vertz actually hit the Beamos shot with his arrow. That's not something you see very often. Rob, noticing that he does not need to pick up that extra magic. Definitely something that's a heads-up play. You see a lot of runners autopilot to it if magic routing goes a little differently. It's normally very consistent in Ganon's Tower, but
All right, we've got Rob approaching Agatu. We'll see how he does here. Second iteration, not able to be quite as much of a bully as the first one.
He's able to be a bully in a different way, though. While Aga 1 is not a hard fight in any world, maybe mentally hard to accept the time loss, Aga 2 is possibly the hardest fight in the game to do fast, or for the difference between fast and slow. You will very rarely, if ever, die on Aga 2. Rob doing a very nice job of it.
Yeah, that was great. There was potential for one fewer cycle, but a really tough pattern on that second one. So, easy to miss on that one, needing to take the damage boost in order to get all the hits in. We are on to Ganon. Ooh, unfortunate hit there, but manages to get the 1-1.
Okay, and can still take a fire bat or two. That's a huge value of fake powders at the top of GT. Can let you tank 1 or 2 extra fire bats in the early phases, which can make the fight much more consistent.
Yeah, that said, Vertz has gotten through the climb, up until the bully of Moldorm had gotten through the climb with taking very little damage, but Moldorm not cooperating at all. Oh, just getting the torch glitch there. He's gotten hit by the fire bat. I wasn't sure he was going to make it back to the torch in time.
Did play it smart, staying still while the fire bat hit him. He knew he could take the hit. Any panicky inputs could lead to the fight getting out of hand. So that was well played all around, though. Nice crisp triples Rob setting up. The beginning of that last one was very tight timing.
And with that 12th hit, Rob takes down Ganon and is set up to cross the bridge and take first place. GG to Rob.
Yeah. Officially, with a time of 1:32:04.
Yeah, given the circumstances of the race, I don't think you're going to be too disappointed about being a minute behind your PB. I mean, most of that time loss was just from Aga.
It's missing the 1-1, but gets great RNG for a pretty easy 2-1 here. So.
And we are joined by Rob. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much.
So, how did you feel about the run generally?
Pretty good. I mean, there were a couple of mistakes in there, but I feel like I haven't really played my best in the tournament so far, and that was definitely closer.
Yeah, for sure. It was solid all around. Obviously, Aga 1 not going quite the way you wanted.
That's true, actually. Yeah, when you normalize that for blue balls, it probably actually wasn't that far behind my PB.
So, were you watching your opponent during the race?
Yeah, I had his stream up.
So, going into Dark World, you had just gotten 7 blue balls. You knew that it was relatively close. What was your mentality? You'd seen the Hera fall, so you got maybe about a minute lead going into the Dark World. What's your mentality for the rest of the run?
I'm just thinking, after that Aghanim luck, I just don't want to lose. Like, I'm going to play things a little bit safer and, make sure I can close it out in spite of the bad luck there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that paid off. It certainly seemed like you were looking for safety and consistency over just raw speed, which is, it's the right play in a race situation, and it worked out this time.
Yeah, absolutely. There were still a couple of scary boss fights in there, though.
I was going to ask, what were the moments that stick out at you as being the scariest moments on the rest of the run? Pause 1 sec on that so we can say GG to Vertz, who just took down Ganon. And we're joined by Vertz. But go right ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Helmasaur, Mothula, and Cold Stare, I guess, were the potentially run-ending moments. And I guess also not getting a fairy drop in Turtle Rock forever. That also scared me a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And
I think you finally got it at 1 heart in Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely.
So not a second too soon.
I went 0 for 4 on drops from the first 4 chances.
And welcome into Vertz. GG on the run.
GG.
And GG, Rob.
Clearly not the way you wanted it to go.
Correct. Yes. I don't know. I felt okay in Light World, other than a Hera fall and getting sniped by a bird in Lost Woods. But then just continued to bleed time in every single dungeon. It's funny. I usually go get Ether before Swamp, but I just went straight to Swamp. And as I was walking in, I was like, something's wrong. I didn't do something I normally do. Just kind of a bummer at the end with Turtle Rock and the Poke getting away from me. Once I finally killed him, I was like, why didn't I just get the Fire Rod out? That was dumb. Yeah,
we had Vortex in the commentary booth, trying to send you the message to take out the Fire Rod at that point. Yeah, so leaving Light World, you still felt pretty good that you were just hoping to chip away at that lead.
Yeah, a bit. I had the restream open, so I was like, okay, it's still pretty close. It's a couple of screens behind, but it's not terrible. And then at the end of every dungeon, I was kind of like, that went okay, but not the way it could have gone. And even if I was really happy with my moth fight today, that felt really good. And I was like, well, but the rest of the split was kind of meh as well. So, it was just kind of a weird run.
Yeah, for sure. And those definitely happen. It's unfortunate to happen in a tournament setting, but
yeah,
you showed good resolve and sticking to it and getting through the race without any, real huge mistakes. There was the Poke and TR, there were a few things here and there, but able to keep focus and keep you within a major mistake margin from Rob.
Right. Yeah, I kept looking at the restream and being like, man, Rob's real good. He's just crushing it right now. So definitely a well-earned victory.
Thank you very much. There were definitely a couple of nervy moments for me though. As you said, any big mistake and it would have turned. I was not far enough ahead to die to a boss or something.
Absolutely. So, anything you guys are looking forward to in runs coming up? Short-term goals, splits that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm definitely still working toward a 130. I would like to get a sub 130. I'm super close. I'm 131.07 PB. But I know there's a lot I need to clean up in order to get there. So just kind of getting back to more practice. Maybe take a week or two off after the tournament intensity, but definitely looking to get back into it again. Haven't really played this in about a year, so picked it up again earlier this year. Happy to be back with it, even if it's frustrating at times.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also looking for a sub 90. That's my main goal at the moment. I know I need to clean up a couple of splits, mostly the light world, actually, other than Ganon's Tower. Because my last 2 PBs have had sub 60 dark worlds. So that's like good enough, but I need to save a little time in the light world.
And for both of you, are you looking for sub 90 as your eventual goal, or do you hope to go still further after that?
I intend to keep going until I stop having fun, basically.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. I'm going to kind of reassess once I get sub 90 and kind of see how I feel about it at that point.
Yeah, for my part, I just got the sub 90, and it seems like there was just as much time save after it as there was, working toward it, right? It always just keeps there's always more time save, it seems like, and you just want to keep getting it, in my experience. So
Yeah, absolutely. I heard the comparison that speedrunning is like gambling. I heard that recently, and it really fits. You're going into each run with such hope for getting the perfect run, for getting the PB, doing well in each split, and you're oftentimes not quite getting there, but you're just left knowing that, man, next time might be the one. It could be. I could get lucky this time. You never know.
Yes, that's very much how it is.
Great.
All right.
Any other questions from you, Vortex?
no, I think both runners answered most of my questions. Both seem to be committed to continuing, regardless of how the rest of the tournament goes for them. At what involvement level is always an open question. But yeah, no, I mean, well done by both runners. No unintentional deaths in this one. I think vertz took a death warp, but it was very intentional.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was I have 4 hearts at the end of Turtle Rock. I need health.
yeah, that was a smart choice, because I think an unintentional death would have taken it out of the range of any major mistakes. And you were still in that range at that time, so I think starting to play it safe was the right call there. But yeah, no, that'll do it for me. Thanks to our restreamer, and thanks to both the runners for a really good race. And thanks to all of you for being here.
Yeah, thank you all for hosting us and for the restream, and GG again, Rob.
Yeah, GG's.
Yeah, GG's. Y'all making my job easy. Yeah, GG's again. Vertz, Rob. Thank you for comms, McMonkey, Vortex. You guys did a fantastic job. And thank you everybody for watching. Right now we've got an Ocarina of Time randomizer. The standard weekly for EU is going on our main channel right now, so we're gonna go ahead and raid them in a bit. But just as far as schedule goes, later today on ZSR main, we've got the Wind Waker randomizer bi-weekly tourney settings race, and then at 3 p.m. Eastern. Then on ZSR2 at 4:30 Eastern, we've got the Minish Cap randomizer weekly race. And then on the schedule it says tentative, but I believe we have volunteers for the 9 p.m. Eastern NMG tournament match. That's Seed 36 P-Train versus Seed 43 Guero Whisper. So winners bracket round 2. So yeah, if you guys are interested in those, tune in. They'll all be fantastic times. So let's go ahead and raid Zelda Speedruns. Thanks again for watching. Thanks to the comms, and GG's to the runners again. So yeah, everybody have a fantastic day. See ya.